Media Day is a day designed for sports teams to create content for their social media and their marketing materials. I started to research how to create my own media day, but there was like no information on it. Creating a media day all by myself was starting to seem like too big of a challenge. But because I'm so smart, beautiful, amazing, funny, humble, and hardworking, I was able to push through and get things started. In this video, I'm going to take you through how I plan and execute my media days. This is creating your own media day. The first chapter is the most important chapter. Planning and preparation. The first thing you want to do is create a proposal. You can do this on your notes app, Google Docs, a slideshow, paper, pretty much anywhere. And in your proposal, you want to figure out the who, what, when, where, how. You need to figure out who you're going to be photographing. This could be a high school, a college, or even a local club's team. This is going to help you figure out the where. For example, if you're photographing a high school sports team, you're probably going to do your media day in that high school. The when isn't the easiest to figure out beforehand, but I still recommend putting a couple dates that work for you on your proposal. Next is the what. What kind of content is going to come out of your media day? Are you going to take pictures? Are you going to take videos? Are you going to do them both? Are you going to have stations? What's the backdrop look like? What's the setup look like? Those are the questions you need to be asking. Answering. Answer those in your proposal. Those are the questions you need to be answering. Now the how. How are you going to make this all happen? Once you figure out which team you want to photograph, reach out to the athletic director at the school or a coach or even a player on the team and send them this amazing proposal. If you plan on photographing more than one sports team, work together with whoever you reached out to or a higher up to figure out the schedule of the day. I also think it's a good idea to make a sign-up sheet so you know how many people are coming. This is mainly for if you're shooting more than one sports team. For me, I usually spend like an hour and a half on each team, but sometimes it takes longer and sometimes it's shorter. So this is something that you'll have to figure out on your own. Sorry about that. Now that you're planned and prepared, let's move on to chapter 2. The next chapter kind of goes hand in hand with this one, so just pretend it doesn't, okay? Now let's talk about what kind of stations you're going to have on your media day. Most media days have multiple stations with photos and videos. Me personally, I don't do that. I am an easily stressed out person, so doing more than one would not be good for me. But if you have a team, definitely recommend doing that. I usually stick around to 1 to 2 stations of only photography. I have 3 go-to setups: a white backdrop, a black backdrop with dramatic lighting, and if I'm photographing an indoor sport like basketball, I'll shoot on the court with a dark background and light. For this setup, I use 2 lights, one in front and one behind. The one in front is on a C-stand, and I usually like to have it a little bit higher than the subject and face it downwards. The second light is just facing the backdrop to make it brighter. For this one, I had 2 lights on each side of the subject. To be honest, this setup took a lot of trial and error to get it right. For this one, I put the big light in front and the smaller light in back as a hair light. Most of the time, I keep that light behind the subject, but sometimes I let it peek through and create this cool little star thing. The day of the shoot, try to get there 1 to 2 hours early so you have time to set up. It's really important to make your subject feel comfortable in front of the camera. An easy way to do this is by giving them pose ideas. So make sure you have the poses ready to go up here for when they ask, because they will ask because it's awkward being in front of a camera. It's also important to stay organized and create a smooth workflow for the day. I usually photograph the athletes individually first, and just like the basic poses, like those poses, I do those first. And then after I get through everybody, we do group photos and fun poses. I just do that so I make sure that everybody gets pictures of themselves and I don't run out of time.
Too, like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you were ugly, I'd let you know. Yeah, you have to scream when you do it. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Now I'm going to be talking about some frequently asked questions and some tips I have. I honestly use a lot of gear for my media days. For my camera body, I use the Sony a7 IV. The main lens I use is the 70-200 f2.8, but I've used a 35 before and I really liked it, and I think that lens is a lot better for when you have more people. I normally only use 2 lights for my setup, and it's this one and this one. And these are all the accessories I use. This is the backdrop stand I use. I love it so much. It's very sturdy, and it comes with a bag, which is super cool. I honestly don't do that much for editing. I usually just do some touch-ups, like if there's like dirt on the backdrop or something like that. But I keep my settings pretty simple. I mainly just adjust the exposure, contrast. I don't know. I can't remember. Now on to the tips. Tip number 1, play music during your shoots. It will make it way less awkward for you and for the people you're photographing. It will also make them feel more comfortable in front of the camera. Tip number 2, tether your camera to a computer or a monitor. All you need for this is a computer or a monitor and a tethering cord.
People love seeing sneak peeks, and it will also make them feel more comfortable.
Tip number 3, expose your lighting on your camera before you start changing the settings of your flashes. For example, if I'm shooting on a basketball court and I want that dark backdrop, I'll make it super dark on my camera first, and then I'll add in the light. I used to think they turned off all the lights in the gym, but you can actually just do it on your camera. Crazy. Tip number 4, don't overexpose your backdrop. This mainly goes for when I'm shooting with the white backdrop because I use a flash facing the backdrop to make it brighter, but sometimes it can get too bright and it will kind of ruin your photo. Tip number 5, buy one of these. Basically, this just cleans out all the dust that's in your camera sensor. It will help get rid of those black dots, like those black spots in the backdrop. I had no idea what those were when I first started, and it drove me insane and I was so annoyed, but it's just dust. And if you use one of these, you can just out the dust and it's not there anymore. Also, I've heard some negative-ish things about it. I personally haven't had a bad experience with it, but if anything bad happens, it's not my fault. Tip number 6, make a list of all the things that could go wrong. For example, if your camera dies, oh, but you made a list of things and you know that you needed to pack another camera battery. Most likely something's gonna go wrong, so I really recommend having a list of all the things that could go wrong so you're prepared. Last but not least, make sure all of your gear is charged. This kind of goes hand in hand with the last one, but like, I really can't stress this enough. You need to double check, triple check. You just need to make sure that your gear is charged. So I have no idea if this was a good video or not because I literally found no videos like this, but I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one. It's really important to have an organized and smooth workflow. You're organized and create a smooth workflow. Somebody's home and I hope they can't hear me filming this video because that'd be really awkward. Media Day is a day for sports teams to say. Media Day is a day designed for. Media Day is when. I feel like this is too close to my face.